All right, we got this industrial camera that came in. Client says the USB is having a little bit of an issue, and I guess I would say it is. Let's get into it. So we can see I don't even see the USB. There it is. Let's take a closer look under the scope and see what we've got here. Yeah, it looks pretty rough. So this always kind of disappoints me that they do this surface mount for these type of plugs like this, because it just doesn't have enough adhesion to the fiberglass. Maybe the copper's as thin as they could go, and these surface mounts, I just don't like it. I would really rather see them do a through hole. What's on the other side of this? There's really nothing on the other side of this thing that would keep them from at least adding a through hole for the legs. I mean, maybe it's a multi-layer. I see a lot of vias. And this piece is coming up here. And that copper feels kind of thick, so it's just, these things are an industrial environment, and they can get a little abused disconnecting that. I'm almost going to recommend that he gets like a little pigtail to plug in so that they're not always pulling on this. I'm not even sure I'm going to be able to fit this in. This lens may not even fit under here. Oh, is that close? It doesn't really want to. We might be all right. Just makes it. It's got that whole lens piece underneath it. Just really pulled out of the solder. Not really great adhesion on it. First thing I want to do is expose some of this copper. Yeah, see how that's almost broke there. And that mask is pretty good. Now this is a little bit overkill because there's so many ground connections. We should make a pretty solid ground on that. It's a pretty hefty solder mask. And this one's almost falling off. It's so close to that component. We can see it is grounded here and grounded there. You want to watch that via, you cut through the top of that via, you could lose some connection there somewhere. Now the other thing we're probably going to have to do is epoxy this thing down. So we really don't need to wick this off, but I think we're going to do that just to be safe. So I bet you we've got a pad here that's not grounded. We need to kind of be careful right here. These big rubber bumpers just sticking up in the air. We'll uncover that too. Kind of small stuff. Kind of tight in there. Almost leery to put epoxy on that. Now, the customer kind of requested that. What we might be able to do is just focus on the legs. Yeah, see, that really doesn't want to sit tight on there. Oh, he's kind of playing games here. Oh, he's playing games. Yes. He can play all the games he wants. We're going to win. Let's see, does that sit flatter now? Yeah, it was that solder blob was holding us up. There's a lot of those solder connections I'd like to make. I'd like to redo those. Alright, as much as I don't like to, I think we're going to mix up some epoxy. Now, if your epoxy's been sitting for a little bit, what I like to do is waste some just to get it going again. It's usually pretty stiff. We get a bad mix. You see how much blobbed out on that side? And we're not even going to touch that stuff. I mean, it's going to be more than enough. Yeah, this one's starting to get a little out there already. Now, the trick with this epoxy is really get it mixed up. This is 5 minutes. It'll give us enough working time and we won't have to sit here for an hour. The 1 minute epoxy seems a little quick. And by doing it on one of these post-it notes, I can kind of monitor where it's at, because this will start curing also. And you want to watch your cross-contamination with this stuff. Don't touch other things. And you want to be a little stingy with it, because you don't want to get it into areas that you don't want it in. I hope we're getting it. And there goes the camera for whatever reason. Let's go to the scope. And after this, we can come back with some hot glue over the whole thing too. Now this is going to be 5 minutes, so it's going to be a little boring to watch. We'll have to speed through this. We can see our legs look pretty good back here. Our alignment looks good. Come on, stay in place. So while I'm waiting for this, I've got this posted on the side that I can keep feeling the condition. So another trick you could do with this, save you a little bit, is you can monitor on the post-it how the epoxy is doing, and you can wait to the last minute to put it on. It usually starts getting stiffer. Then you can put it on. This corner here might be a little off right there. See, it's still pretty loose. I can check my post-it. It's starting to get a little body to it. You just have to have some patience with it. Take your time. You can see how it's still a little liquid down in there. Now you see why I really prefer through hole, because by now we'd be done. But instead we got to play with this surface mount on these retention legs. I do not like it. Don't know what they think they're saving. Sure, it could be something with the layout and it would be in the way and all that happy stuff. But if something goes wrong here, yeah, we're going to have ugliness getting this back off. So I know a lot of times we'll just do hot glue. Hot glue is easier to repair, get it back off. I'm not really sure that the hot glue is going to do it for us with this. We might come in and put a bead of hot glue on top of this and close the case down on it. That might give it a good good retention. It's still pretty soft on the post-it note. Yeah, we're still sliding. See, I think our legs are a little bent down, so they're putting some preload on those pads trying to push this thing back up. They're still pretty liquid. Even when this is done, it's cured in 5 minutes, but it's not really solid. So at some point, we're probably going to cut and let this thing sit and come back to it. See, I'm kind of looking for this back edge of this copper and this back edge of this copper. So I do want this to sit in the case proper. It's kind of tall. I don't know what I could put on here to clamp this. Don't like that. I don't know if I want to struggle with the vise to get it in. So I think we're going to bridge some wick across here. Again, I'm looking at this edge here. See how it's wanting to rock a bit? And I don't have a lot of good places to go with that. I think we should have left it in there. Let's check our post-it. We're getting pretty hard on the post-it. So we might be getting closer to where we should have been at. See, this is still kind of moving around. This is the 5-minute epoxy. It's a little bit of a pain. Just hold out. Let it keep going. It's pretty solid on our post-it. See, the toothpick is stuck in there pretty good. Our pins are so loose, so shouldn't give us a problem soldering those. We're still a little soft, but it's getting there. The whole trick is just holding this thing down because it wants to come back up. But it's down pretty tight. It's 5 minutes to get solid, but it's a good 15 minutes to really let it do its thing. Ooh, I've got screws everywhere. See, it's still got a little wiggle to it. Some lead weight on it. I think we're going to cut for a couple minutes and let this sit for maybe an hour. We'll come back, probably do the solder next time. All right, so I let this sit all night. Let's take it out of the clamp and see how the epoxy did. Really? I'm kidding you. I had to do that. So now what we're going to do is solder these ground connections and go into our pins, and that should wrap it up. I don't think we're really going to be able to test much on it. Let's go to the scope. So obviously the epoxy is probably good and hard now. It's like a rock. That's set a long time. Even though our pins look a little wanky, they'll be all right. I'll make a solder connection. I think we might just touch this, expose some of that, so we're not trying to solder over the epoxy that might have wicked out. I do want to watch this. I don't think I want to get anything on there. Kind of a tight spot. Yeah, I think we're going to have to get something on there to fill that gap. Yeah, it's resisting a bit. Keep hitting that rubber, I could smell it. It's a tight spot. change this tip out on the smaller iron. This is almost too small for this. We might have a little too much epoxy still on there. That's a pretty good bridge. It might get a little sloppy looking because I really don't want to disturb too much either. I'd rather just have the bulk on there. You can see how that just made a big bridge across there, and we're going to live with that. This is not really pretty, like factory pretty, but it's making that connection, and that's really what we want. Do quick continuity. Tip is almost too small. Might have to get a little more flux in there because that's wanting to bridge. Don't like being stingy with flux. Well, that tip does not look good. This board really is wanting to take some heat. We got some small components here, but this is kind of fighting me a little bit. Let's get some of this out of here. There we go. That's got it nice. Those are nice and solid. That thing's like a rock on there now. Now if it comes loose, it's taking traces with it. So I wonder what would happen if we plug this thing in. Thing looks good there. That looks good. I think it fits good in the case. Everything clean here. Let's button it up and plug it in. Okay, that went in very nice. So I'm going to plug this into the recording computer here. If it goes blank, we know we got a problem. I don't think I got another USB. I don't hear anything, which could mean that it is proprietary software and we're not going to get any result. So we might have to return this to the customer and find out if it works. All right, so that was a pretty basic. Wasn't really any torn traces. Like, subscribe. See you next time.